I know you're the last person who owes me any favors right now, Adeline. But this really isn't even for me.
What is it?
She answered impatiently from the other end of the phone.
I have a lot on right now.
So, I have this friend, and she wants to work for you. The thing is, well, you remember how I said my bike was haunted? Somebody took her spirit, soul, ghost thing out of the bike and put her into another body. So I'm thinking she's basically a normal human, right? Just a soul in a body.
What are you getting at, Jose?
That's human enough to work for you, right? I asked nervously, not actually sure what I wanted the answer to be.
I honestly don't know. That's for Cerber to decide.
What? What the hell do you mean? Don't you own the company? I questioned.
I mean the app, Jose. Send her the app, and depending on which version it manifests itself as, that will let you know if she's human or paranormal. The app's made to be able to sense the presence of the user so that humans get the employee app, and supernaturals get the customer version.
Dr. Jekyll doesn't like the word supernatural. Says as long as there's explanations and laws to govern something, it's still natural, even if we don't understand them yet.
Did you just correct me?
A wicked hiss slithered out of the earpiece, burrowing deep into my brain, and rekindling the awareness that I was still talking to a horrifying snake woman. Thanks for the help, Adeline! I choked into the phone as I hung it up as fast as I could. Listening to Jekyll explain his research into all this weirdness has rubbed off on me, I guess. Once that was over, I realized that Rissa didn't even have the phone yet to send an app to. As I crammed my phone back into its compartment, I spotted a public bench off across the parking lot. So I rolled my bike over to it and sat down for a little while, just to think. After I sat there for a while, my head leaned back and my eyes closed. Remember that feeling you get when you were a kid and turned off the light and the room went dark? And you were sure, you were positive that there was something in the dark, just out of sight watching, waiting for you to turn your back on it, and all you want to do is run as fast as you can into the safety of the light? That feeling hit me like a tsunami of abject terror all at once, and then a voice spoke from beside me. "Excuse me, do you mind?" The man asked me as he loomed over, the street lamp behind him cutting a sharp silhouette of his figure. "Just so I can rest my legs for a second." He spoke in a deep, stern, but composed voice that didn't do anything for my nerves. Yes? I managed to croak up as my mouth began to dry out. I scooted over and pushed my bag off the bench to make room, finding the urge to take off as fast as I could and leave my bike and bag behind. It's hard to explain how bad I wanted to get away from this man. Like I tapped into that sixth sense people are always talking about animals having. Like I could sense evil for a second. Why is he wearing sunglasses at midnight? An evasive thought crossed my mind as my phone binged, signaling an order and giving me a reason to dismiss myself. "Nice to meet you. I gotta take this," I told the man as I pointed to the glowing screen on my phone. As I pedaled away, I turned to take one last look at the guy sitting on the bench. The blackness of his clothing seemingly sucking all the light from the street lamp next to him. Holy fuck. Who was that? I asked myself, almost running over a curb from not paying attention. I'd straight up quit if I ever had to deliver something to that son of a bitch. My relief didn't last long when I saw that the delivery was for one of the new third-tier customers. Great. One gets to try and kill me tonight, I complained. Of course it would involve you guys, I said through gritted teeth as the door to the shop in the alley creaked open. Whatever, just give me the meat, I told whoever was behind the door. Oh, it's you, Chris said, opening the door all the way. Hey, hold on a sec. You ain't seen this fuck around here, have you? He asked, holding up a crude drawing. No way, I gasped when I took a look at it. I just saw that guy before I came here, I shouted, pointing at the picture. You tell me where right now, you little bastard! Chris yelled in my face, snatched me closer by the collar. Jeez, I wonder what that was all about, I thought to myself, catching myself waiting for Rissa to pop up and ask what was going on like usual. Huh, that's kinda depressing. Oh yeah, scared delivery coming up. Time to put brown on my pants. After riding for some time, I found myself at the edge of some trees. No special instructions. I sighed, looking down at my phone screen. I'm gonna have to go in there, aren't I? As the omnipresent spirit of bullshit. So I took my first step, knowing that I would be able to just leave the container at the entrance. I pulled my flashlight out and clicked on. At first, I thought the battery was getting low. But the beam just wasn't cutting through the dark like it should. Always a bad sign. As I walked deeper and deeper in the faint light from the opening slowly shrank to a pinprick, I started to hear something. Or some things moving in the trees around me. Then the whispering started. At first, I could only make out that it was a voice, but not what it was saying. But as it got louder, or I got closer, I started to understand. Jose? The voice spoke my name softly at first. Who the... I don't know you, do I? I asked nervously into the almost void-like surrounding. It's your fault, Jose. The voice continued to speak. Everything is your fault. What's my fault? I ain't never done anything to you. I half shouted towards the area where it's coming from. Look, just take your stupid meat so I can't... It's because of you. 3 new voices spoke from behind and beside me. Who? What is this? I stopped as I saw a face slowly enter into the beam of moonlight peeking through the treetops. Rissa? What the hell are you doing here? I started to ask, but stopped when the rest of her passed under the light. Her whole right arm was gone, completely missing as blood flowed from the jagged wound, and the cold light of the moon hit the bare bone of her skull, where most of the side of her face had been torn away. You're the reason I died, Jose. All your fault. Dream! Gotta be a bad dream. I'm gonna wake up any second now on the park bench or something, just... Gotta wake up! I hoped desperately to myself as I slowly backed away. Why did I have to die? Another voice asked over my shoulder, causing me to wheel round and face the source. Fate? What the... You are the cause of my daughter's death. The unmistakable voice of the Count growled from the shadows. I lost my sister because of you. We both lost our sisters because of you. Destiny spoke as she exited the darkness, hand loud close behind. We all hate you, you know. We're just pretending everything is fine until we find the right chance to get back at you for all the suffering you caused us. We're going to kill you, Jose. We're going to kill you when you least expect it. She said as she got closer and closer. You should have told me the truth, Jose. Julie's voice spoke as something latched onto my ankle. I aimed the light down to see a hand of chewed up, severed arm grabbing my leg. Take it! Forget the tip! I screamed, throwing the plastic container into the air and snatching my leg away before sprinting as fast as I could back the way I came, tripping and falling over limbs and roots most of the way. By the time I was out, I was covered in dirt, scrapes, and cuts, but I didn't slow down even for a second. I was on my bike and flying down the street as fast as my legs would let me. Once I finally calmed down, some of the things I heard and saw in the trees were filling my head. Part of me was still waiting to wake up. The other part was wondering what really was in those trees, and how they knew all that stuff that happened, and more importantly, whether or not they knew something about it I didn't. After struggling inside my own mind for a while, I managed to push all those nagging thoughts into the back of my head and decided I'd stop by Destiny's for a second to rest and cheer myself up a little. Well, here's how that went. Oh hey, whoa, what the hell happened to you? Rissa asked, glancing up from a bike that she'd been working on when I walked in. A grim look of doom plastered across my face. Not answering her right away, I let my bike fall over and dragged my feet to a chair in the kitchen to unravel the food I just bought myself on the way home. What you got there? She added to a question, some concern in her voice. Cheeseburger, I said flippantly, holding up the unwrapped burger for her to see. Here's yours, I added, handing her one of her own. Damn, dude. For real though, what happened? The last delivery was pretty rough, right? And I met some terrifying guy before that. So once I was done, I wanted to stop to see Destiny for a second. You know, 'cause hug. Okay, I understand so far. So what's got you all shook up? Rissa questioned, taking a cheeseburger out of my hand and sitting down next to me. So I got to her house and I walked in and... Okay. You know how I mentioned that Destiny has a few, kinks that I'm still getting used to? Yeah? Well, okay, I'm in the middle of the house now and looking for her. And when I finally find her, she was coming out of her room. So I called to her, let her know I was there. And about that same time, Jekyll walked out of a room next to me. So I turned to see who it was, and about that time I heard Destiny say, Hey, Daddy. So I answered her and said, Hey, baby. Okay, I'm still with you, Risha told me, looking visibly uncomfortable. So I see this look of just abject terror as she looks right at me, apparently just noticing me for the first time. Oh no, Jose, no, Rissa said, realizing where this was heading. And then I see his head peek out from around the corner at the end of the hall, same time as I heard Jekyll softly close the door he was about to walk out of. And he was all like, What did you just say to my daughter? Cal not so much as spoke as hated at an audible frequency at me. So I looked at Destiny for some kind of direction and hints, but all she did was mouth run at me. What did you do? She asked, hanging on my every word. Well, I remember this ruckus, turmoil, undiscernible chaos. Anyway, there's more house missing now, but somehow I found my way outside to my bike and rode off as fast as I could. And now you're afraid? Afraid the actual real Dracula's gonna show up without warning and tear the actual fabric of reality apart? Yeah, I interrupted the question. A few seconds into uncomfortable silence that followed, my phone started to ring, and Rissa picked it up.
He's loose! You got to keep Jose safe until the sun comes up. I'll be there any second.
Destiny's voice blasted through the speaker. As soon as we heard that, we both shot out of our chairs and bolted for the back door as a mass of black mist began to form and swirl around the center of the room. Hey, hold on, Rissa said, grabbing me by the shoulder and tried to frantically scuttle through the door. Look! I turned to see what she was talking about and saw the Count sitting crisscrossed, hunched over in the middle of the floor. Is he? I asked under my breath, still half ready to bolt outside at any second. Why are you two still here? Destiny shouted as she puffed up next to us, noticing her dad sulking in my apartment. What the hell is going on? She asked over his sniffles. Oh shit, he's getting up! He's getting up! I shrieked as he slowly stood up off the floor. What's wrong, Dad? Destiny said, walking over to where he was. You're just growing up and becoming your own person. I am having difficulty accepting it. He sniffled, wiping his nose on his sleeve. I'm just gonna go... I trailed off, slipping outside and leaving them to talk it out for a while. What are you doing out here? Jesus! I screamed after Holly scared the shit out of me. Spinning around to see where the voice came from, I shouted, Why the hell would you do that right now? You're jumpier than usual, she said, narrowing her eyes at me. So I told her the same basic story I told Rissa, and after that, she just walked off, barely laughing to herself, inside out. Apparently happy for the first time since she bought the apartment. Glad I could cheer you up, I mumbled, flipping her off behind the back as she left and Rissa walked up behind me. I think they're done now, she told me, looking uncomfortably over her shoulder back at the apartment. That was so awkward. And that's how it all happened. I added once it was done explaining everything to Relic. That's right. All that was story within a story within a story. Bet you didn't see that coming. You question reality yet? What's real? How can you possibly know? I'm sorry. I'm going through some things. Anyway, back to the existential crisis.
Your ability to almost die the most horrible deaths never fails to astound.
Relic's voice hummed through his apartment as he unwrapped his usual ridiculous order of fast food. Yeah, I think I might be my own worst enemy at this point. I mumbled, tapping the active icon on my phone I had secretly turned on earlier, hoping for an escape from the drama unfolding in my apartment.
Is this salad? Why would you desecrate my dwelling with this?
All right, that's mine. Destiny made a comment about me eating like a billy goat, so I'm trying to enjoy life a little less. I answered, grimacing at the green garbage in Relic's hands. So, what are we watching tonight?
I feel like I need to scrub my eyes with a steel brush,
I whispered as the screen went dark on a Serbian film. Why would you pick this?
Someone told me it was a really good horror movie.
Relic responded without turning away from the screen.
I kept waiting for it to end, but I couldn't look away, like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
New rule. No more recommendations from whoever that was. After leaving Relic's place, I stopped to get something to eat to bring back to the apartment. But as I stood at the register, I heard someone speak from behind me.
Jose, is that you, amigo?
Oh dear God, no. There's absolutely no way. I thought as I slowly turned to face the very unpleasantly familiar New York voice. Madison? What in the holy hell are you doing here?
Jose, it is you,
she said, slapping me on the back.
What's going around back at home? There's a place paying mad cash for food delivery over here. Still can't figure out how to find the food company, though. Looks like you haven't found it either, huh? I saw that hunk of junk you had chained up outside. What happened? You go broke and have to sell Lahora? Lame.
That's none of your... I'm doing fine. Someone messed up my old one, so that's what the guy had on hand in a hurry. I tried to explain and leave as I grabbed my food in an attempt to get out of there.
What's the rush, Jose?
She asked, stepping in my way. Well, you're here, so I'd like to get away as far as possible.
Well, that's not nice,
she pouted. Neither are you, I responded, pushing my way past her. Nice seeing you again, I guess. You look exhausted, Risa commented as I walked through the front door later that afternoon. What's this? She asked when I handed her a small box. Cell phone, I answered, falling face first into the couch. Where's Destiny? I mumbled into one of the throw pillows. She left right after her dad. Jesus, I can't believe how that came out. Her dad? She left right after her dad. She answered with a small sigh.
Wait, you got me a phone?
Yeah, if you're gonna work for Cerber, then you kinda need one, don't you? Just pay me back whenever. I know what you're thinking. Why would I make a payback after all she's been through? You gotta play to your audience, okay? She's not the type of person who wants to feel like she needs people to take care of her all the time. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I added, pulling out my own phone. Still gotta send you the app to see. See what? She asked as I tried to find a way to share the app with someone else. We gotta see if you count as human enough to be an employee. I told her as the notification from the link beeped from her phone. According to the boss lady, you just hit link. If the employee interface comes up, it counts you as human. If the consumer interface comes up, I guess, I trailed off. It means I'm not human, she finished quietly. Okay, here goes, she said after a long sigh. Then she tapped the screen and walked over to the couch to sit next to me. We both sat there in paralyzed silence as an orange bat fluttered across in circles in the middle of the screen, in place of a loading icon. Does it normally take this long? She asked nervously after more than a minute had passed. It didn't with me? Maybe it's because the phone's new or something, I speculated dumbly, trying not to make her any more anxious than she already was. And then, finally, the orange Cerber logo slowly faded into the center of the screen before...
The employee screen! Yes!
Rissa shouted with joy, jumping off the couch and throwing her arms in the air.
Oh!
She gasped, plopping back down onto the couch. I guess I just have to fill this thing out, right? I guess so, I told her, shrugging my shoulders.
Wait, hold on,
She said after a few minutes.
it says the new applicants have to pass some kind of writing evaluation?
What? I didn't have to do that, I replied, walking back over to her.
Yeah, but you said because you impressed the boss so much, she decided to test this whole thing out on you,
Rissa explained.
God, I hope this isn't based on your performance. You write like a maniac.
She groaned, still looking at the screen.
Oh wait, here it is. It says that I have to go to a specific location at a certain time and get from A to B to C within a set time limit.
Guess you better start practicing, I told her as we heard a boisterous knocking at the door.
Who could that be?
Rissa asked as I walked over. There's literally no telling at this point. I groaned as I twisted the knob.
Madison! What? Why? How? Followed you home. Spied on you for a while. Just like old times,
She said with a mean laugh of hers.
Oh, who's that? Girlfriend?
She suddenly asked, peeking around me to see Rissa on the couch.
What's with the makeup? Huh? No, it's just, she's what the word? Roommate. She's my special effects obsessed roommate.
I fumbled, trying to close the door on her, but she shoved the way through.
Does nobody respect the sanctity of home anymore? Yeah, that makes sense. She's way too cute for you,
Madison said, leaning in to get a closer look at Rissa.
Wow, this is really good work,
She said, poking the area where her skin changes.
Way too cute,
She repeated, leaning in ever closer to her face. What the hell is happening here? I whispered to myself.
Yeah, okay, time for you to go,
I shouted, trying to push Madison out of the door. But, true to form, as I struggled to get it to leave, poof.
I'm back. Dad finally started to calm down. Now. Whoops.
She sighed as she realized what she just did. Madison's eyes and jaw opened wide at the white-haired, red-eyed, pointy-eared woman who just materialized in the middle of the living room out of thin air. I say we kill her, I only half-jokingly suggested as we talked about how to handle the situation outside as Madison waited in the apartment.
For the 5th time, we are not killing her. This isn't the CIA or something. Why do you hate her so much anyway?
Destiny asked. Don't worry about it. So if we can't kill her, what are we supposed to do about this?
I guess we should explain the situation to her? We don't know anyone who can erase memories after all, do we?
Okay, fine, but you do it, I told her as my phone started to ring. I looked down to see Adeline's name plastered across the screen. Hello, Adeline.
Jose, I have some exciting news for you.